Hi, everyone. Welcome to our One World Zohar, our energy connection with the Zohar's portion of the week. This week is a double portion, Bahar and Bechukotai. We're going to be in volume 16 in Bahar and verse 69. Let's begin by inviting in the Kabbalistic lineage of the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rav Shlag, Rav Brandwein, the Ria Kodesh, Ramchal, Rav Tarfon, Rav Ramzulai, Rav Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, Rav Kolonu, Shapir Pia Setzna, the Baal Shem Tov, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, and all the students from Mordechai of Chernobyl, One Soul with Yosef Tzadik in Shechem. Today is the 21st of Taurus of Iyar, so we have a new moon coming up in another week and a half. It's also the 36th day of the counting of the Omer, the 49 days between the beginning of Passover and Shavuot, the revelation event on Mount Sinai. And so we're counting all 49 days. The 36th day corresponds to Malchut of Hod, which is manifestation of our, let's say, clairvoyance, our ability to see the deeper reality. So we have that going on for us. As we connect to these verses, let's begin by opening our consciousness up to the world beyond the 1%, the flawless universe. And as we connect to these verses, we want to channel energy of healing for everyone we know who needs healing. So whoever you know who needs healing, have them in mind. If you know their name and their mother's name, even better. I have a list that I'm going through right now. Let's also send out energy of assistance to those souls that we know are in the first 12 months of their leaving the physical world, of their elevation. Let's also connect to, well, hang on a second. Yehuda ben Abraham, Ganessa bat Zev, Wendy bat Stanford. Let's also
Rosebud Sarah.
Yael bat Yaakov,
Rosebud Sarah.
Rose bat Sarah. Let's also connect to the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love, treating everyone with human decency, ending the wars and conflicts in our world, protection for all those innocents that are in harm's way, connecting to the energy of soulmates, and remove all chaos and negativity from our world. Okay, verse 69. The name of the article is Change of Name, Change of Place, Change of Deed. Uvaginda chova Adam abar al vayitzav Hashem Elokim v'okmuha. En tzav ela avodah zara abar ale. Arkiv le betipat terach. Devei ratach l'kutsha brichu. Da'avar al tzav me'avodah zara. Hader b'tiyuvta v'tavar tzulmin da'avodah zara. V'chol mezonei dilei v'hu takif b'ma decha. V'tavar chova uvinyana bisha devana ba'amlich le l'kutsha brichu v'shchinte al alma. Maria?
Want me to read the synopsis?
Yeah, good idea.
We learned how Abraham mended the sins of Adam and Terach, and how he made God and the Shekhinah to rule over the whole world.
Okay, so have you ever had any wonders about why Abraham is the figure that he is? It's not like he was running for office and had a great publicity team. That's how he got all this amazing billing. No, he did amazing things. He did a tikkun. He corrected for the things that Adam and Terach, his dad, Terach was his dad. That the things that they did, they were off course. He corrected for that. And he created a greater flow of the light of the Creator and the Shekhinah over the whole world. Hang on for 1 second. Okay, we're back. And so Abraham represents a huge, towering figure, one of the most elevated souls to ever walk the earth. We all have that same potential innate within us to change the world like Abraham changed the world. And one of the things that our teachers have said is we want to have a consciousness of powering up our dormant ability, our dormant power to change the world like Abraham and Isaac and Jacob did. So right away from connecting to this, we're connecting to that power, to connect to the limitless internal energy that we have, the spark of the creator, which is limitless, which gives each of us the ability to power up in a way that we can change the world. Let's continue.
This section tells of how Adam was reincarnated and how his transgression were overturned. Through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Adam obtained a change of name, a change of place, and a change of action.
So the second thing is that we're going to read about how these corrections took place, not in one lifetime, but in multiple lifetimes. Like how the trajectory of we listen, the reality is we're stuck in a physical existence and we see things as limited and we see things as having beginnings and ends. And, that's the way this physical realm looks to us, appears to us, but that's an illusion. There's a, there's immortality and there's continuity that we don't see. And so an opportunity here again to connect to that limitless aspect of the journey of our soul and what is going on in the world. Okay, let's continue with the English 69.
Adam's sin was therefore against, and Hashem Elohim commanded.
Okay, so what did Adam do wrong? Well, the Creator told him to not eat of
Apple.
the apple, the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Mhm.
And and they did anyhow. It's the original sin. It's the first thing they did. They were in the Garden of Eden, and as a consequence of that, they end up basically getting evicted from the Garden of Eden. And there's a specific verse, the 16th verse of the second chapter. And Hashem Elohim commanded. So we're going to read into exactly what that means, but understand that the reason why we experience a world of chaos and negativity is because of that sin. I mean, think about it. Just because you ate an apple? I used to have a neighbor, and like when we'd walk by the house, she'd scream at us, "Don't walk on the grass." I mean, I get it. Like, I guess she was really proud of her landscaping. But like, it's the worst thing in the world to walk on someone's lawn. I mean, I can see how it could be rude, but like eating an apple, that was enough. So it can't be that simple. It never is. It can't be that simple. It wasn't a matter of eating an apple. It was a matter of internalizing the energy of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It was accepting a mindset, a view of the world. I mean, the snake says to Eve, he says, "We can't eat that. We're going to die." And the snake says, "I'm eating it. I'm not dying." And that's the way the Satan works. Like, what's the big deal? It's not a big deal. Here I am. I'm saying it's a big deal being an apple. It's not a big deal. That's the way the Satan operates. So she ate a bite and she saw she didn't die. So why was that such a big deal? Who was the creator saving those apples for anyhow? It wasn't a matter of the apples. It was a matter of a consciousness. We see a world where there's right and wrong, where there's good and bad, where there's positive and negative, when the deeper reality is it's all positive. Everything that's happening is happening for us. Everything that happens in our lives is happening for us. It's there to assist us on our journey. It's the journey of our soul. It's the role we play in perfecting the world. So it wasn't just a matter of eating an apple. But if you take the story literally, take anything from the five books of Moses, from the Torah literally, you miss the inner essence of what the blueprint for reality, the Torah, really is. And that's what the Zohar helps us do, and other sources do also. But primarily, that's what the Zohar helps us do. Remember that the Torah is like the body, the Zohar is like the soul. It's like we're looking at the Torah at a surface level, we're missing the internal aspect of it. And so it wasn't as simple as eating an apple. That wasn't the sin. The sin was adopting a mindset which we still have today. And when you adopt that mindset, you invite in death. Because when you're connecting to a consciousness of right and wrong, you're connecting to a consciousness of limitations, of seeing the world as limited, as scarce, as beginnings and ends. When the deeper reality is it's an abundant world, universe, and it's eternal. But we can't see that because we ate the apple, because we bought into a consciousness. Let's continue.
We explained that command refers to idolatry.
How can that be idolatry? How can, if I say to you, please close the door on your way out, is that idolatry? I mean, is that just a command? I'm asking you, he asked them, don't eat from the tree. Why does that become idolatry? And what is idolatry, anyhow? I mean, we understand it as idol worship, literally. But it's more along the lines of assigning power to something that doesn't exist. And I always use the example of my lucky rabbit's foot, my lucky pen. There's no lucky pen. There's no lucky rabbit's foot. Everything, all the blessings are coming from the Creator. When I assign the power to something of a physical nature, that's idol worship. When I when I turn my thoughts to I need to do something for my financial security, like I'm responsible for that, that's also idol worship. All my physical and spiritual sustenance is coming from the Creator. Yeah, I have to do things, but all I'm doing is opening up the channels to flow from the upper realm. Let's continue.
Since he sinned in idolatry, he formed him. That is, he caused him to incarnate in Terah's drop of semen, in which he vexed, namely angered. The Holy One, blessed be he, thus transgressing in idolatry, since Terah was idolatrous.
So the Zohar is giving us a long explanation as to Adam and Adam's sin. So he is now being reincarnated in Terach, who is an idol worshiper. So in theory, since Adam's sin was idol worship and Terach was an idol worshiper, Terach now has the opportunity to correct for the sin of Adam. Let's continue.
From a drop of his semen came Abraham. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah. Who was an incarnation of the first man,
Okay,
Abraham.
so among the significant aspects of of Abraham was he was the reincarnation of Adam. So now we understand like how he was able to correct for things that Adam did for specifically the original sin. Go ahead.
Abraham did penance and amesh the image,
Smashed.
smashed the images of idols and all the virtual places before them.
Okay, so how did he correct for that? He destroyed his father's idol shop. His father, Terach, had a bunch of idols, and Abraham destroyed them. As the story goes, Terach left Abram along in the idol shop he was running, and while he was there, Abraham, sensing that this was an opportunity to correct for the sin of Adam, destroyed all the idols. And this was Terach's livelihood, and he had a lot of loyal customers. And so he comes back and he sees his entire inventory destroyed. And he says, Abram, I left you in charge. What happened? He said, well, that idol just took up the hammer and destroyed all the other idols. And Terach said, well, then what happened to that idol? I said, well, then I destroyed him. I mean, I'm sure there's some deep meaning to that story, but the bottom line is that was Abraham correcting for the sin of Adam. Let's continue.
Wait, David.
Yes.
Worth asking the question. There are a number of years that passed between Adam and Terach and Abraham. So Adam, it says the seed of Adam, being reincarnated into Terach, presumably was quite a bit of time that passed.
well, there was a flood. I mean, Noah, for one,
Right. No, but I'm saying
right? The
hundreds of
tower,
years.
yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, there was Noah on the ark, that whole story. Yeah. Well, to us, that might seem significant, but in the spiritual realm, it really isn't. But it was a lot of time. Yeah. Let's continue.
He mended the sins of Adam and Terah and smashed the sin of the evil ed- edifice
Edifice. Yeah.
edifice he built, namely the edifice of the klipot of Adam, caused to be built by his sin.
So it's this idea of a klipa. When you sin, you're creating a shell that blocks the light. So it was more than just destroying the idols. It was destroying the klipa, that shell that was blocking light because of the sin. When I show up in a way that is disrespectful or negative speech or a mindset that's just not open enough to people and circumstances, I'm creating a shell, a blockage of light. And part of the work that we're here to do is remove those blockages so I can manifest more fully my soul. Let's continue.
And he made the Holy One, blessed be he, and the Shekhinah to rule over the whole world.
So it wasn't just that, it wasn't a small thing, it was a big thing that that Abraham was able to accomplish by doing corrections, tikkunim, for Abraham and for Adam and um, Terach. Um, Aaron, Marie had to go. Can you take over for her on the English? Okay, great. So what does it mean that he made the Holy One, blessed be, and the Shekhinah to rule over the whole world? Wasn't the Creator already ruling over the world? Again, what the Zohar is telling us is that Abraham opened those channels. Abraham removed those blockages. So for us, it's an opportunity for us to see where our blockages are. One of the conversation, I'm doing the Limitless mentoring for the Limitless class again, Limitless One. And the topic we dealt with this week was tikkun, was correction, was the things that we need to be working on. And what happens is, I'm going to share a very interesting metaphor. What happens is that we have triggers. We perceive that someone says or does something, and then I react. I have a trigger. And we perceive that it begins with my trigger. Like I have to work on my triggers. But the reality is that that's not the way things play out. I have a sensitivity. I'm sensitive to something. I'm walking around with pain. And when I get triggered, it's just making me feel that pain, that unhealed pain. So the example that was shared with me, which I want to share with all of us, is like imagine that, you got injured and your shoulder was dislocated and you never got it fixed. You never got it put back in place. And you're walking around and you're fine. You don't feel pain. And someone taps you on the shoulder, bumps into you, and all of a sudden you're screaming in pain. Is it the person that is the source of that pain? Or is it the unhealed wound that you're carrying around? We're all carrying around unhealed wounds. And so when we get triggered, it's an opportunity for us to see what is it that I need to address, that I need to look at? Where do I need healing? What wounds am I, how wounded am I? So in the same way, we have blockages and lack of perfection in the world. And Abraham's actions of correction opened up those channels for our world from the Creator and the Shekhinah, this feminine aspect of the Creator. Any questions or observations? Okay. Verse 70. B'mai begin the Kaddish Shmei Yutav Barabim, Ve'al benur le'i tokda garmei, lekayem be b'silei elokechem, tisrufun ba'esh, v'lo od ela dil avoy, terach adar b'tiyuvta, ve'oyule ulaime, ulachol mare dehahu dera begin began eden. V'haki it Lavan benura bekikaspa. Diyu monita demalka v'shikir la be'oferet. Ael le benura v'nafek ha'oferet levar Yishmael. Uvginda nafek mitzachek b'avarozora. V'ishtar adam luban v'hai ihu shinui Hashem. Dechad itgalgal adam ba'el mebadle shinui Hashem. Shinui makom v'shinui ma'aseh. Aaron?
He asks, how did he make the Holy One, blessed be he, and his Shekinah rulers of the world?
Yeah, I mean, that's like quite a huge undertaking and action. Like, how did he do that? Let's continue.
And he answers, by sanctifying his name in public and by going into the fire to be burned, so that the words would be fulfilled in Adam, that say, the carvings of their Elohim shall you burn with fire.
Okay, so what? Like, this is esoteric. Like, what did Abraham do exactly? He sanctified the Creator's name in public. What exactly does that mean? So he basically was walking around saying, "There's something bigger than this. There's a Creator. There's a Yud K Vav K." Although I don't know if he's using those letters, but he was saying that this isn't the source of everything. This is the effect, that there is a prime cause, irrespective of how it shows up. And again, so for us, this is our opportunity to understand that there's a prime cause in our world, the creative energy that flows into our world. We're living in the effect. And so if we want to be more like the Creator, if we want to channel blessings, we need to be like the Creator also. And how do we do that? We need to be the cause. We need to be proactive, not reactive. Okay, let's continue.
This means, since Adam worshipped idols, he was considered as the carvings of their Elohim.
Where did Adam worship idols? Aaron, what are you thinking?
Was it when he gave in to the snake?
I think so. It's like he's giving in to another power. He's like listening to the word of the snake, which is in conflict with the word of the Creator. There's a lot of depth to that, but I want to say that it goes to who we are, and we being in the position of having a choice of listening to the world around us or journeying towards our authentic self, our soul. And so in a sense, Adam wasn't being authentic, which we do all the time. It's very human. It's very human to be impacted and influenced by the circumstances and the world around us, by the place we're in, by the name we have, and by the deeds we do based on interacting with the world around us. I mean, the world's not going to tell you that there's a deeper reality. I have to arrive at that. But I need to be me. I don't need to be someone else. I need to be the best version of me that I can be. That's what we're always working on. It's not so easy because we have an opponent who will tell us otherwise. And we have other influences that will tell us otherwise.
David,
Let's continue. Yes.
I want you to emphasize that, because I was thinking that when you said that he gave in, right, it means that we chose to listen to our ego and not our soul, right? And I see Ron shaking his head. So maybe you can elaborate. I mean, what we lost was our connection to the Creator, right? We're saying it's an idol, but what we lost was we stopped going to our source.
Right. And so whenever we navigate life in a way that's a 1% body consciousness, we're disconnecting from the light. The struggle is to see that the light is in everything, to see that I'm not a victim, to see that everything is happening for me. And that's a struggle because my ego will tell me otherwise and the opponent will tell me otherwise. I don't have to worry about myself. I mean, dinner's not going to show up on its own. No, it's not. But the Creator, if I make the effort, the Creator is also going to assist me in that undertaking. And so that's the battle between ego and soul. And while it would appear we are physical beings that sometimes have spiritual experiences and spiritual connections, the reality is that we're spiritual beings having a physical journey. And it's difficult for us because of the overwhelming influence of physicality to connect the soul. And there's a lot that's blocking my ability to connect to my soul. Sometimes it's easier for me to see your soul than it's to see, well, it's definitely easier for me to see your soul than it's to see mine because I'm living in my head. That's why being the observer of what goes on, observing myself, is such an important tool to take a step back and say, why am I showing up this way? What exactly is going on? Let's continue.
Furthermore, he caused his father Terah to repent and brought him, his mother, and all the rulers of that age to the Garden of Eden.
He brought them like what was that like a little tour? Like how did he do that? He brought them to this understanding that there's a flawless universe, that there are that yes, we experience limited world and we experience scarcity, but the deeper reality is it's a world of abundance and it's a world of unlimited blessings. And that's the Garden of Eden. And that is not easy to see. But again, that's what Abram was able to do. So specifically, his ability to get his parents to see that was a huge correction for them. Daniel Naor did a session last night on tikkun healing, viewed from the perspective of the energy of our mothers. He's doing another one, I think June 16th, on fathers. I highly recommend it because the mother one was fascinating. It's like we have to understand, no matter what kind of relationship we have with our mother, that our mother and father channeled our life into this world. So viewed from our perspective, like what is there about that relationship? It's still the fact that they channeled our life, no matter what kind of relationship we have with them, on a deeper spiritual level, there's significance to my journey because of that. And we see here that there was significance to Abraham's connection to his father Terah. Let's continue.
He was thus purified like silver by fire, like the king's
What does
silver.
that mean, silver by fire? Silver comes not in a perfect form. It comes with impurities. By cooking it over the fire, we remove those impurities to create the same thing with who we are. We're a mixture of ego and soul. And so the challenges that we go through are the way that we remove the impurities, we remove the blockages, we heal our dislocated shoulder. Let's continue.
Like the king's silver coin that was forged with a mixture of lead. He was therefore put in fire, and the lead came out, which is Ishmael.
Okay, so by the way, literally, Abraham was put in a fire. Like the ruler at the time was putting people to death, and he had tried to put Abraham to death, and Abraham emerged from the fire unscathed. It's a whole other story. Who's Ishmael? Abraham's firstborn. So he represents this negativity, this, lead in silver, essentially. Important to note that Ishmael was the father of a whole other nation, that Ishmael does tshuva before he passes and reconnects with Abraham. But that's not how his early life begins. Let's continue.
Ishmael therefore was mocking and worshipped idols, while Adam remained purified by fire.
And so early in his life, that's what Ishmael did. I mean, that's why he gets sent away because he's mocking Isaac, Abraham's son by Sarah. Let's continue.
This is the change of name, for his name was changed from Adam to Abraham.
Fascinating. What do you mean his name was changed? He was born, they gave him the name Abraham because essentially he represents the same soul. For us, it's an opportunity to think about what we need to change. Some people start using they speak to their teachers and they get a Hebrew name. Literally, by changing your name, you're changing your destiny. You're changing your trajectory. That name is a reflection of your internal energy, of your soul. So one way of removing the blockage is to your soul is by taking on a holy name, your holy name, the name that you have that is a manifestation of your soul in the physical realm. So when I call Aaron, Aaron, I'm really talking to his soul, the more soulful aspect of who he is. Let's continue.
For when Adam was incarnated, he had to undergo a change of name, change of place, and change of deed as follows.
Okay, so this is what we're going to get into next. But the point is that looking at our life, changing our name, changing our place, and changing our deeds changes our trajectory. It changes the nature of our journey. So if I don't feel like I'm really living my best life, if I don't feel like I'm really aligning myself with who my soul really is, I need to change things. It's like, that old definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Here, what we're saying is we don't do it over and over again. We change our approach to get a different result, to get a more positive result, to get a result that's more aligned with my soul. So huge opportunity for us here to remove our blockages, to change our trajectory, to manifest blessings because of changes that we're making. There are mindsets that just don't serve us, and they're not easy to see. It's like we downloaded software that just is not aligned with our soul's work. And one of the ways to remove those blockages is to study Zohar, because the Zohar has the power to connect us more deeply to our soul, to remove those blockages that exist. Another opportunity through our study today. Verse 71. L'levatara Yitzchak v'titakav be mechova tinyana de itmar be al adam da shefichut damim v'da garam nisyona de Yitzchak b'sakina v'itbarar be kaman devarir ochel migo psolet v'nafik psolet levar esav shofech damim.
Then came Isaac, and he became stronger through him. That is, Adam was incarnated in him and overcame the second transgression, of which it says, the man, which refers to bloodshed.
Okay, so Isaac, according to the Zohar, was another reincarnation of Adam, working on a different aspect of of Adam's sin, Adam's inability to be aligned with what his soul's purpose was. I'm not sure what what was the second transgression. It's not really telling us, but it's saying it was shvichas damim, which is bloodshed. Now, bloodshed is the simple example of bloodshed is murder, but another example of bloodshed is just humiliating somebody. That our sages, our teachers tell us when you embarrass somebody and the blood rushes to their face, that embarrassment, in a way you're guilty of bloodshed. It's fascinating. The level of sensitivity that we need to have with the people around us. It's not my responsibility to change you. I'm having a hard enough time with myself. But we lack the sensitivity so many times in the way that we act or react. Let's continue. So again, here is an opportunity for us to be more elevated in how we see the world and see our interactions with people. Let's continue.
And Hashem Elohim commanded the man, saying, Bereshit 2:16, commanded refers to idolatry, the man to bloodshed, and saying to incest.
Okay, so so again, we have this idea of command, which in the first paragraph. We understand now command is referring to idolatry, giving a power over to something else that it doesn't have. So the verse which uses the word command and quote the man and quote saying, those words are referencing other aspects of that required correction. So basically it was the sin of idolatry, the sin of bloodshed, and the sin of incest. Let's continue. He transgressed them all. Adam transgressed all of them. So you have to really delve into the story to really see all that. But let's just make that assumption for today's purposes. And for us, this is because we're discussing the tikkunim, the corrections that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did to Adam's soul. We're also connecting to those tikkunim, those corrections, through the power of the Zohar, through the power of Rabbi Shimon, and the power of this story. Go ahead.
This brought the trial of Isaac by knife, namely the sacrifice of Isaac, of which it says, and took the knife to slay his son.
So his restriction from slaying his son was a correction for the bloodshed that Adam committed, that Adam was guilty of. There's so many ways to understand the sacrifice of Isaac. We call it the sacrifice of Isaac, even though Isaac is not sacrificed. But again, it represents this restriction. Restriction? Where's the restriction? Well, Isaac submitted himself to being tied down on an altar for sacrifice. So that was a major restriction. Why didn't he just push away and say, I'm not doing that? He restricted that desire. What was Abraham's restriction? Well, Abraham was a man of mercy, of unconditional love. How could he tie his son down and take out a knife to kill him? So that was his restriction. So there were major, major upheavals in the spiritual realm because of that incident. That's why that incident looms so large. You look at it at surface level, it's like, this is whacked out, man. Abraham going to slaughter his only son? That wasn't really what was taking place. Well, I mean, didn't it take place? It's not really what was taking place. What was taking place on a deeper level, and that's where we always want to go, is this was a correction for the sins of Adam. Right column restriction is restricting my unconditional love. I can kill someone with unconditional love. Left column is restriction judgment. I can kill my judgment. Like I need that balance. And that episode represents the balance, creating balance for the whole world. That's why it's such a significant story and a significant event. And so again, for us, we're doing our own tikkunim, where we've shown up with too much mercy, where some restriction was required, or we showed up with too much judgment, where restriction was required. And again, this is the Zohar assisting us in removing our blockages based on the klipot that we created by not showing up with the right kind of mix of right column, left column, and balance. Let's continue.
Adam was cleansed by him as food is picked from refuse. And the refuse came out, which is Esau, who sheds blood. And the food, Jacob came out cleansed from refuse. This is what is written. Jacob had the grace of Adam because in Jacob he came out cleansed and purified from all refuse.
So once again, Isaac has two kids. One's right column, one's Jacob, perfection in man, and one's Esau, left column, judgment energy. From the same guy, from Isaac, isn't that crazy? Isaac was the left column. So of course he had Esau. Esau had the opportunity to do a tikkun, to restrict his judgmental nature. He wasn't able to do it. Jacob, on the other hand, represents this manifestation in the lineage of his father and his grandfather. So we're running out of time, but the point for us here, this begins by a change of name, a change of place, and change of deed, is looking at our life and looking at where is it that I need to change? Where is it that I need to get rid of mindsets that don't serve me? Where is it that I need to move, maybe not physically, but move consciously? If we want a different outcome, we need to change the way we're doing things. And so for us, it's an opportunity to take stock and look at how we're showing up and see that there's opportunities for enhancing our experience, enhancing our life, manifesting more blessings, not for just us, manifesting those blessings out of a desire to receive for the sake of sharing. And so that's one aspect of it, but we see how it ties up with the significance of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and what they did in their lives. And again, we benefit from the decisions and the things that they did, and it gives us the opportunity also to show up with our ability to change the world, which is the same ability that they had. Ours is dormant, but we need to awaken it, to power it up so we can also make changes to the world. Okay. Aaron, thanks for reading. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Love you all. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining
all.
us.
Thank you. Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.